Yo, it's your boy Dctree, and this is Dctree-Nation, the channel on YouTube that covers hoops and heroes. And today we're talking hoops. We're talking the NBA draft, y'all. And the NBA draft will take place in a few days. So I figured I should make a video about the Spurs, potential picks, potential future Spurs on this team. And if you're a fan of the channel, I've been pretty biased, you could say, or maybe I've been sticking to my guns about the Spurs needing to go with size, go with a big man. I'll leave those videos linked above, about Kai Jones, about Sagoon. Those are two guys that I feel like the Spurs need to go with. But I got out of my comfort zone a little bit and started looking at maybe potential perimeter players. And, Kispert came on my radar, and I gotta tell you, man, I was really impressed with his shooting touch. His shot was smoother than a Tony Parker spin move.
5 to shoot, knocked away, another Laker turnover. They go the other way. Nice spin move by Parker.
His shooting touch was smoother than a Manu two-step.
The Spurs. Ginobili. Oh my goodness.
Listen, Kispert's jump shot is smoother than the Black Spider-Man. Y'all get what I'm trying to say, man. The boy is nice. But before I jump too deep into it, if you like my content, please sub to the channel. All right, let's jump straight into it. And the reason why Kispert is a potential pick for the Spurs is his ability to knock shots down. He has the ability to hit shots at the top of the key, splash, nothing but net. He has the ability to pick and roll and pop, splash, nothing but the bottom of the net. He is a bona fide shooter, and the San Antonio Spurs were dead last in three-point attempts last season, dead last in three-point makes last season. So having a guy that can just hit the shot from any side of the court, from the corner, from the top, makes sense. You get what I'm saying? So the San Antonio Spurs need to look into this guy, especially if they're not considering going big. Like I said earlier in the video, going with size. If they're going with just the best player available, this guy has been, our pick in the latest mock draft for Sports Illustrated. You get what I'm saying? So I can see the Spurs picking him up when you're dealing with a team that has players like DeJounte Murray, potentially DeMar DeRozan if he doesn't leave. They can find him. You get what I'm saying? He can be on the court to kind of open things up for those mid-range scorers, for those ISO type players. So even if DeMar leaves, this guy can open up the lane for Keldon, open up the lane for Murray. Players that aren't, usually perimeter, shooters. You get what I'm saying? People that want to go to the basket, drive, kick the basketball. So they can pick this guy up and he can help this team immediately. Now, like I keep saying, I was a fan of size, but potentially, he's a small forward, but potentially you can put him at the 4 at times. Like I wouldn't start him at the 4, but he weighs the same amount as Keldon Johnson. Now, weight isn't everything. Obviously, Keldon Johnson has more, muscle than maybe a Kispert, but at the same time you can put him at the 4 to stretch things a little bit, go small at times. So he's not necessarily a guard type of player. Like he is and he isn't at the same time. He just has the potential to knock down shots, and we really need that desperately, someone to open up the floor and knock down baskets. And you can find 3-point shooters in free agency, but this guy's going to be cheaper, way cheaper, and potential piece for this team moving forward for years to come. If the Spurs are looking for a player to fill it up, to score, to stretch the floor, this is your guy if you're going the offensive route. Now, one of the things that could be considered a drawback of this guy is that his defense is pretty average. I mean, he does hustle on defense, but his foot speed, he does tend to get burned a little bit by quicker guards. So we wouldn't really be dependent on him to be a defensive powerhouse. But at the same time, like I said, because of the way the league is going, the direction of the league, and the fact that he has some size, some weight to him, you can potentially hide him out at the 4, the 3, to stretch the defense a little bit. but that is a liability. And then another thing too, he does remind me of like a JJ Redick type player. And you can make the argument is that, he's not a top 12 pick. This isn't a guy you take with a 12th pick. This is a guy, that's essentially going to be a spot up shooter, and his ceiling isn't very high because he doesn't create his own shot very well. His handles are a little off. You get what I'm saying? So he's not really an all-around offensive threat. So, it's really up to the Spurs and their direction. I'm still advocate for Sengun. That's just who I think the Spurs should get, but it doesn't look like he's going to fall to 12. I like this guy, Corey Kispert, better than Kai Jones. And I know a lot of people are going to get at me for that. But I just do, because with Kai Jones, he's more of a leaper. He's very raw, and he's just not there yet, And Spurs Nation, oh my God, you guys know you guys aren't patient. Now, if you're willing to wait 2-3 years for Kai Jones to do something, of course he may play and may start, but for him to actually come into his own, have a well-rounded offensive game, if you're willing to wait a couple years for that, then cool. But if you want someone that can help the Spurs right now with a critical area in today's game, you got to go with Kispert if he's there at number 12 and Sengun isn't on the board, in my opinion. At the end of the day, I do not envy the position the Spurs front office is in, because honestly, they don't really have a bona fide answer to the team. They have so many holes or so many questions surrounding this team that it's hard to draft for a team like this, because on the guard side of things, they have a lot of potential. You get what I'm saying? Like Murray had a breakout year, but can he do it again? You get what I'm saying? Keldon has so much potential, but he's not quite consistent yet. Is Derek White going to come back and be Derek White, or is he going to get hurt again? What is Lonnie Walker going to do? So it's just so many questions surrounding this team. So do you run with those perimeter players and go big and get the Kai Jones and get the Sengun, or do you bring in the shooting that this team desperately needs? These are legitimate questions. And then you can make the argument that the Spurs shouldn't go after a small forward type at all and Kispert, because you got Devin Vassell in the wings. You get what I'm saying? He was just the 11th pick last season. He didn't get to play that often, that consistently last season. Maybe if Patty Mills moves on to another team, more minutes open up, and Vassell could be that shooter that the Spurs so desperately need. Now, his touch isn't quite as good as Kispert's, but at the same time, how many perimeter players are we going to get? So it's a lot of questions around this team, a lot of questions. So I don't know what the Spurs are going to do. They have some options in free agency where they can probably pick up John Collins or pick up a center and pick up a power forward, something like that. So if they did go with another perimeter player as the 12th pick, I wouldn't be necessarily disappointed, as long as it's not like a point guard or like maybe a 2 guard. I mean, you shouldn't go lower than a small forward. This team is already small enough as it is, and we have so much perimeter talent. What are you going to do? So it's a lot of questions, surrounding this team. I'm curious of what they're going to do. Let me know in the comment section if you are feeling this Corey guy, or if you want to go with Kai Jones, or if you want to go with Sengun. Let me know. And just to reiterate, I think my first pick I would take is Sengun, and then I probably would go Kispert next after that, if it isn't another big man that I'm missing. So I'll do more research, and I'll probably drop another video before the draft. All right, guys, that's it for this one. Thanks for kicking it with me, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.